Hey, folks, this is Douglas Tate from Freddy vs. Jason and Halloween Kills, also the Jack Link Sasquatch, and you are listening to the Horror Squad podcast.
Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Horror Squad podcast. This is episode number 302, where tonight we are going to be reviewing 1954's Creature from the Black Lagoon. Happy Halloween Eve, gentlemen. Of course, everyone else will hear this after Halloween, but I would like to know, Steve Todd, how was your Hallows Eve weekend?
Hello, everybody. Let's see. Didn't do a lot of horror stuff. Watched the new Five Nights at Freddy's movie, which I'll discuss in what's watched. And then we went to semifinals for state and we lost, or no, quarterfinals for state for football and we lost. So it is what it is. 8-6. We missed our 2-point conversion. They made theirs, so that's how it crumbles sometimes. But that's it for me. You guys?
I was prepping for Halloween. I try to put out a lot of stuff outside and just get ready for all the neighborhood kids. But the snowy motherfucker came and reared its ugly head this morning. We got a snow dump, and now there's snow all over my yard, and I don't know if I want to put out my stuff because a lot of it is like really good stuff. So I don't know what I'm going to do right now. I might just keep it to the inflatables that I have out there now and just answer the door. I'm not sure. TBD. We'll see how it goes tomorrow, but looking forward to it as always. The problem is with Halloween, though, as like horror fans and people who do events and all sorts of stuff, is I'm so fried by the time we actually get to the 31st that I'm like almost like, oh, I don't even feel like going through your door. I just want to eat candy and watch movies, But yeah, I'm still gonna do it because you got to represent for the kids, and I'll do that in the first. What about you, Joe?
Yeah, I had a super busy weekend, so shout out to Silver Moon Collectibles. We sponsored an event with Douglas Tate, of course, who played Jason at the end scene to Freddy vs. Jason, and he also was the stunt double in Halloween Kills. Super nice guy. He also played Sasquatch, Jack Link's beef jerky commercials, which I think I knew that, but then I forgot, and then I saw it on his table. I was like, oh shit, cool. Super, super nice guy. Great event. Shout out to our friends at PVD Horror. They filled in for us for the Q&A for this one because I had a very busy weekend because Sam actually did her very first vending fair. She vended the Salem Night Fair, which is done by Black Veil Tattoo. Matt and Ryan Murray, awesome, awesome guys. They do my tattoos, and they put on just absolutely amazing night fair 2 weekends in October. If you are ever in Salem, I can't recommend this event enough. They do it at old Salem Pioneer Village, so it looks like Salem in the 1630s. And just the vibe of the whole place is awesome. They get the witch soundtrack like blasting, and they got all these sort of creepy characters walking around. Very like sort of, I wouldn't call them like haunt style characters. It's very like artsy, creepy, very, very cool. And then there's like 50 or 60 sort of spooky vendors you can explore. They have a beer garden. They have like spooky themed games and stuff. It is awesome. And so Sam was able to vend it. I helped her out all weekend. We had so much fun. Met a lot of great people from all over the country. And we met a lot of people from Canada, Steve. There were a lot of your fellow Canadians there as well, which was cool. So, it was just an awesome event. Sam did really well. She met a lot of people who support her Halloween Happy stuff. So, yeah, great, great time. Great Hallows Eve weekend. Tomorrow, Halloween Day, we are going to embrace the chaos of Salem. I won't be doing my Art the Clown busk, but I am going to go in costume as Art the Clown and just kind of walk around and enjoy the atmosphere of Halloween. I'll give a full review on that of Halloween in Salem next week. And then November 1st, I'll give another review. We're going to go see Terrifier 2 in theaters. Sam has never seen it before, so I'm excited to see her reaction to it.
Awesome. I know we're going to talk about Terrifier 3 in the news. At least I think so. So how about we spill a little tea?
Oh, you want the tea? I'm sorry. We don't serve tea. Nope. Instead, you get a cup of Joe. And now here's Joe with the news.
Alrighty. Thank you so much, Chuck. And here it is, ladies and gentlemen, your cup of Joe for the week. Let's start right off with Terrifier 3, since we were just talking about it. as big news, of course, dropped, actually leaked out as someone from the theaters could not wait for their excitement. And they leaked out the special poster that everyone is going to be receiving who go and see Terrifier 2 on November 1st. That does reveal that Terrifier 3 will be a Christmas movie. That is right, ladies and gentlemen. This movie will be set around Christmas time. The teaser poster, very cool, with Art the Clown in front of a Christmas tree wearing the face, skinned face of Santa Claus around his neck. So yeah, I mean, that's really it for now. We are going to get footage of Terrifier 3 apparently when this movie releases on November 1st. I'm sure that will leak online as well. But let's hear your initial thoughts. Terrifier 3 Christmas movie.
It's a sick poster. I really, really love the poster. So they did a great job with that. I'm psyched about it, honestly. I think, I love Christmas horror. So I think it would be a great thing. And I was going to watch Terrifier 3 anyway. So I guess David Howard Thornton, he got the taste last year with The Grinch. And now he's going to go full blown with Art the Clown. Yeah, just off that poster, I'm more psyched than I already was. Kudos to them. I'm looking forward to seeing the footage. Hopefully, they said that it's only in theaters, the footage, but like you said, I think someone will film it and leak it, and then they'll have to release it because it's either you watch it, on someone's phone, or they actually just release a nice version of it.
Yeah, man, that poster looks pretty damn cool. Like, I'm excited, and I think I'll try to get to the theater and get me a copy of one because that'd be pretty cool on the wall. But yeah, you know what? We said what we liked and disliked about the movie, so we'll see what happens with part 3.
Alrighty. And to keep in Terrifier sort of news, Damien Leone, of course, who is promoting, of course, Terrifier 2 in theaters, recently we discussed what is next for him. What is he going to do after Terrifier? Well, perhaps a little hint, he was recently did an interview and was quoted as saying that he would love to take a stab at the Friday the 13th franchise, specifically saying he would like to bring it back to the 80s, set Jason Voorhees back in the 80s. So I'd love to hear from you guys. Damien Leone taking over for the Friday the 13th franchise. Good idea? Bad idea?
Great idea. Like, let's get Jason with a bunch of gore. Let's make that runtime. Let's rein the runtime in a little bit because with Jason, I want just fast kills and nudity. That's all I really need, right? But let's make sure we get a good Jason too. I'm sorry, David Howard Thornton, you're not gonna play Jason because too skinny, too small. No offense, but we need a big hulking dude to play it.
Yes, we need Douglas Tate to play him. I think it's his turn to play Jason in a full movie. I think he'd be great. And yeah, I'm totally down for Damien Leone to do a take on Friday the 13th. I think he would bring really the gore and the violence back that the slasher film all really need to get a little bit more of. I feel that a lot of them in the last 20 years have been kind of tame in terms of the violence. So I think this would be awesome. And this would guarantee that David Gordon Green gets his damn stinking hands off all our favorite franchises. So bonus for that.
Yeah, 100% agree with you guys. Obviously, the dude brings the gore, obviously, and does practical effects amazingly. So why not, right? Like, give him the reins to the Friday the 13th franchise. And I'm sure the fans would be on board. I mean, the art fans are crazy. They're going to come to the theaters to see it, to support Damien. And I think it'd be really, really cool. So, all right, next bit of news here. Filed this one under, did anyone see this one coming? Because we recently commented about Five Nights at Freddy's, and was it too late? We felt that, it was past its prime. The franchise was pretty much kind of dead, and no one thought it was going to go anywhere. Well, we couldn't have been any more wrong, gentlemen, because Five Nights at Freddy's absolutely shattered it this weekend in the box office. Although it did also release on Peacock too, so people could have literally watched this at home, but everyone flooded to the theaters to watch this Five Nights at Freddy's adaptation. Let me just say this movie made $78 million domestically and also 130 worldwide this weekend.
78
What does that
domestic?
mean? Yes. So what does that mean?
A killing.
Yes. So what does it mean? That means it absolutely shattered a lot of box office records this week. Let me just run it down real quick. So it is the biggest Blumhouse global opening of all time, beating Halloween 2018 that made 91.8 million. It is also the biggest opening for a horror film directed by a woman, which is the third. This is actually her third Blumhouse project, but the biggest opening for a horror film directed by a woman. It is also the highest grossing opening weekend for a Blumhouse film ever, also surpassing Halloween 2018. It is also the highest opening for any PG-13 horror film ever, surpassing The Mummy Returns. It is also the biggest original horror opening of 2023 and the second biggest horror opening behind The Nun 2. It is also the highest domestic opening for Halloween weekend, surpassing Puss in Boots. And lastly, the biggest domestic horror movie opening weekend of the year, passing Scream 6. Now that, super impressive. Let me give you one more tidbit. It is the third largest domestic opening for any horror movie ever, behind only It and It Chapter 2. So we are obviously going to get more Five Nights at Freddy's. This is clearly going to become a franchise after the massive success. So, I mean, I am personally shocked about this. Let's hear, what do you guys think?
Kids sell, man. Kids sell shit, and every kid that I know, and my friends, my kids have a ton of friends, wanted to watch this film. I'm more shocked though that it made money, seeing that it launched on Peacock at the same time. That's what really throws me off. I didn't think it was. I thought it was too late, but like once I heard word of mouth from the kids, I'm like, all right, this should make money. But that's a fuck ton of money for a PG-13 film about games that are kind of past their prime. Even though I know they're coming out with a new one recently or soon, or it's already come out, something like that. But that's wild, man. Like, good for them. I watched it this weekend too on Peacock, so I guess so did everyone else.
Yeah, I'm like both really surprised, but also not surprised, because I'm really surprised because I really thought it was too late as well. But that's my old man ass that said that. But then I also like think back to my 50-year-old nephew, and he watches these YouTubers who play Minecraft and they have 30 million followers. It's kids, they bring the numbers, when there's stuff they love, and gaming is at its peak really right now. So I'm not that surprised. At the same time, I think the teens all want to see it, and it kind of hits all the audiences. Kind of the teen audience, the older audience, because it's a horror. It's like it's kind of the smooth spot there. So good for that. It's good for horror.
Yeah, I have a story about the lead character in that film. So Josh Hutcherson, I think that's how you pronounce the last name. He actually grew up where I live now, and he dated my daughter's best friend's mom. And they have a picture like prom or some bullshit like that. So small world. Come back to Kentucky, Josh. Let's do some cons.
Alrighty. So a little bit of Hocus Pocus 3 update for all you Hocus Pocus fans. And I know a lot of you now listen to the show, hopefully, after our Hocus Pocus event. Well, let's give you a little update. So Anne Fletcher, of course, who directed Hocus Pocus 2, is going to be back in the director chair. And also Jen D'Angelo will be coming back to write the script. Jen D'Angelo recently sat down with Entertainment Weekly for an interview. And here is a little update on the movie. So currently, she said they're still in the story phase, still working on it. She said, we've only scratched the surface, though, of Hannah Waddingham's Mother Witch character. So it seems like we are going to be getting a lot more Mother Witch in the third movie. She said, I'm hoping that we are able to explore every aspect of these stories and take these characters on a bunch of fun adventures. 3 is still very much in the early stages. We don't really know what it is yet, but we're exploring all options. She also said that Bette Midler, Sarah Jessica Parker, and Kathy Najimy obviously will be reprising their roles, but didn't really give any other more details. Based on our event last week, we know the fans are clamoring for Max, Danny, Allison, and Binks to hopefully make their return in the third movie. So I got to ask you guys, what would make you, I guess, want to return? We're kind of so on the second movie. I think we were pretty favorable on it after we first watched it, but after giving it some time, I think we cooled off on it a lot. So what do you guys want to see, or what would make you excited for a third Hocus Pocus movie?
Yeah, that's funny. All three of us were like, "Yeah, it's a solid three," and then now we're like, "This fucking movie." At least in my perspective, it's terrible. It's not good. The sequel is just. I think that has a lot to do with our connection too with the first film and how amazing that is of all around just solid movie. So part 2 is okay. Part 3, honestly, I don't care about. Like if you bring back Max and all them, I'm interested, but the new cast of characters and what are the fuck, I don't even remember what the hell you're talking about. Mother Witch, I don't know who the hell that is. So I'm like, I don't
So
know.
she's the character in the very beginning of the movie that basically,
Mother Witch.
um,
Oh, when they were
she
little
what is she?
girls.
She like yeah, when they're little girls, she basically
Oh,
is the reason they become the Sanderson sisters, right? If I'm not mistaken, yeah.
yeah. I don't need any of that. I just want the witches coming back and trying to do whatever they fucking want to do with the kids, and that's it. So,
I think this movie needs to do what Jurassic Park did with their last film, and that is to meld the two, like,
Alan.
yeah, that's right, the two films together. So you have the cast of Hocus Pocus 1 and the cast of Hocus Pocus 2 to defeat like the final big bad, because this is probably going to be the last Hocus Pocus with the Sanderson sisters, just based off what I've heard, and I don't think Bette Midler is going to do these forever. So I think you can kind of bring everything in and tie a nice bow around it, and then afterwards, if they want to make more, then you can focus on kind of the new characters or maybe prequels to the Sandersons or whatever. But I think they just need to kind of close off the trilogy at this point.
All right, well, we'll keep you guys updated on that. Well, we had Freddy versus Jason. We wanted more. Do we want more versus movies? Well, what if I told you Chucky versus Megan? It is possible, folks, apparently, according to Don Mancini. Both properties, of course, are owned by NBC Universal. He was recently asked, could we see Chucky versus Megan? And he simply just said, I would say, stay tuned. So whether that means yes or no, or just a tease, we shall see. But for me, I kind of like the idea. Like, I feel like they would work well together, right? They're both, one's like an AI, one's like a. I mean, if they go with the Chucky that we recently got, that would make a lot more sense because they're both AI dolls. But I don't know. What do you guys think? Chucky versus Megan? Terrible idea? Fun idea? Would you want to see it?
Terrible idea, dude. What are you talking about? Like, none of us liked Megan. I think we thought it was okay, and then,
I liked Megan. I was one of
well,
the
yeah, it's
only ones.
okay, whatever. I did watch it twice this year, so what do I know? But it just sounds dumb, honestly. And I'm not current with the Chucky universe. What happened? I thought he took over Nika at one point, or Mika, or whatever her name is. Like, did that not happen?
Dude, the Chucky TV series is so fucking convoluted. There's just so much going on. I am confused at this point, honestly, of like where we are at
And
in the
you're watching it
story.
too.
But
Jeez.
right, yeah. But man, there's way too much. And like the fact that Chucky has now overtaken like 50 different dolls, essentially, like Cult of Chucky, So he's
Mhm.
in like 50 different Chucky bodies. It just makes things so confusing. And then like Chucky was in Nika at one point, like possessed Nika. It's I don't even, man, it's so fucking confusing. Like I don't even know. I like yeah, like it's kind of, the series is kind of a mess, and I will give sort of a review of it in my what watch, because they just wrapped mid-season finale of season 3, so I'll kind of give my more thoughts on
Sweet.
that after.
Yeah, so I actually like the idea of Chucky versus Megan, but I have a problem with it. And the problem is, if they did do that, I bet you they'd put it in the Megan universe. What I mean by that is it would be a PG-13 Chucky versus Megan. Whereas if we got a Bride of Chucky type, universe for Chucky versus Megan, I think they could have a lot of fun with it. Like if it can go vulgar and gory and stuff like that. But I just have a feeling that they want to keep their Megan audience and would shy away from a lot of the stuff that I would want to see in a Chucky versus Megan. So ultimately, it probably wouldn't work, in my opinion.
They would definitely put a dance scene in there too.
Oh
100%.
yeah,
100%.
100. They have to. They have to make TikTok happy. So
Oh boy.
Yeah, Chucky's just gotten so fucking goofy at this point. He's basically like a caricature of like what he used to be. I'm not loving it. I think just bring him back to the horror. Like it's basically just become a total comedy at this point with gore, which the gore has been great. But yeah, Chucky versus Megan. I think it could be a really fun idea, but if it's like the current Chucky, I'm not as excited about it. So we shall see. All right, just a couple of quick updates on movies that are going to be coming soon. Black Phone 2 has been officially confirmed. Tentative date, of course, we'll see how long this actor strike goes on, but June 27th, 2025, we will be getting a Black Phone Part 2. What that story will entail, we shall see, because I feel like it pretty much in Part 1. But
but for those who want a Black Phone universe story, you can see one right now, as one of the stories in VHS 85 takes place in that universe from the same writer and director, Scott Derrickson. So
That's pretty
just
cool.
a little tidbit there for people who want a little taste of the Black Phone universe right now on Shudder.
That's got to
Very
be
cool.
pretty cool, right? That's the only thing they can do.
Yeah, it's 85, so yeah.
No. I mean, Black Phone 2.
Oh, yeah, kind of, right?
Yeah, I mean, Ethan Hawke's dead, so.
Yeah, unless the kid
Spoilers.
becomes
Oh, sorry.
becomes the character. Anyway, we'll see.
Yeah.
We shall see. Another update, A Quiet Place Day 1. The spin-off series to the Quiet Place universe will be arriving in theaters June 28th of 2024. I wasn't super excited about this, but the cast is fantastic. You have Lupita Nyong'o, Joseph Quinn, Alex Wolff, and Michael Sorotsky. So a really solid cast there for A Quiet Place Day 1 coming out next year. And lastly, a update on the Poltergeist franchise. We have not seen anything Poltergeist anytime recently. The last thing I think we saw was the remake that came out, over 10 years ago at this point. It kind of came and went and nothing. Well, currently, Amazon and MGM are developing the Poltergeist television series. No real details on what is going to be about. Are we going to have the Freeling family part of this? Is it going to be a whole different family involved? We shall see. But Poltergeist TV series, excited for it?
No.
No.
I just no.
Too many
Okay.
TV shows.
Yeah, the
Too many
TV
shows.
thing is getting. I agree. It's just too much to follow, and yeah, I think movies. We need to rein it back to movies.
Yeah. I'm like 9 shows behind. I got like 2 Star Wars shows I need to watch still.
Gen
Gotta
V.
get Gen V, Boys 4 is coming out this year, or next year. Fuck, man. Chucky, I'm still behind on. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, we got Friday coming. We got a bunch of other. There's no time.
Fucking Loki show I need to watch. Like, come on.
It's all about the Benjamins, I think. You can extend these series rather than one movie. You can make seasons out of them. I think that's what it's all
for
about,
sure.
obviously. So, I mean, it's the constant streaming. They all got to compete. So we'll see. Yeah, I kind of am like on the fence about it. I love the Poltergeist franchise. I just don't know if it's worthy of a TV series, but we'll see. Maybe it will be. I can't remember the last like really great horror series though. Honestly, that's come out. I mean, you guys would probably say The Exorcist. Yeah.
Well, from an established franchise, The Exorcist, probably the last good one.
Mm-hmm.
Or
we got Halloween coming too. So
Chucky season 1 was good, I thought.
Yeah, it was solid. Yeah, What We Do in the Shadows is great. Yeah, that's true.
That's true. This season was actually incredible. I don't know if you guys watched it.
I keep hearing that. I'm still still behind. They
went back to
behind on.
They went back to the basics in this one. It's just them in the house fucking around, and it's so fucking good. So good this season.
Yeah. The last episode I watched was they went to like a night market and they made his familiar fight in like a fight club.
yeah, that was last season, I think. Yeah, it got a lot better this season, I find.
100%. All right, guys. I guess we will leave it off at that. That is it for your Cup of Joe horror news this week. We'll see you in a couple weeks.
Absolutely. And now, what watched? So, Todd, how about you? You start off with our what watched.
All right. So what watched? I did the Five Nights at Freddy movie, which is currently in theaters right now. I didn't know it was directed by a female, and that's like high regards to her or high honors to her with getting that massive box office. Sorry, Josh Hutcherson and some other people I don't have it in front of me. But basically, Josh Hutcherson plays a gentleman that's taking care of his younger sister. And he's kind of down on his luck, man. He can't hold a job for longer than a few days. He beats up this guy at the mall as a mall security guard because he thought the character was kidnapping a child, and it just went downhill for him. So he goes to Matthew Lillard, who's this like job finder recruiter guy, which I'm happy to see Matthew Lillard because he's awesome. And he gives this gig that's overnight security at this abandoned Chuck E. Cheese like place called Freddy something, Five Nights at Freddy Chuck E. Cheese, we'll call it that. And there's some spooky shit happening. So I gave it a 2.5 out of 5. It's okay. It's like, but what I don't understand though is like I'm seeing online a lot of people shitting on it, but it is a movie literally made for kids. The video game's for kids. It's not for us. This movie is made for those people that were like 8 or 9 when the games came out and now are like 13, 14, like my daughter's age watching it. So this movie is 100% for them. So you cannot like take it like it's gonna be like this never like this coolest fucking movie. It has zero gore. The jump scares are all terrible. They don't work. The comedy is a little rough, but it is extremely well acted by Josh Hutcherson. You can feel his character's arc, and it's got like a really cool setting, and the robots look really cool. I remember when we talked about Banana Split's movie, and it looked like those characters were just dudes in suits and kind of took you out of it. But like these characters actually look really cool. Like the animatronic work is really awesome. The lighting and the music and the Five Nights at Freddy's little like Chuck E. Cheese place is really cool. So I enjoyed it. Do I love it? Is it like top 10 of the year? Absolutely not. But for a kid horror movie, watch it, have fun. And it's got a really disturbing and like deep subplot that I didn't expect in a kid movie. So that caught me off guard.
So between Banana Splits, Willy's Wonderland, Five Nights at Freddy's, which would you recommend, I guess, the most?
I think the best overall film is Five Nights at Freddy's for sure.
Okay, cool. Awesome. All right, my first one tonight is a 2023 release. I don't know if either of you guys have seen this one yet, but it is a PG-13 horror movie called The Boogeyman, based on a
My
Stephen
first one, too.
King. Oh, well,
Yeah,
we
there
can
you
talk
go.
about it
Yeah.
together then. Yeah, so 2023 based on a Stephen King short story, Steve? Is it, or is it a full novel?
No, it's a short story.
Short story. Okay. So yeah, this one is about a family that is dealing with the tragic death of their mother. Basically, the father is a therapist. One girl is really young. She has a fear of sort of the dark, and then a teenage daughter played by Sophie Thatcher, who a lot of you might know from Yellow Jackets fame. She plays young Juliette Lewis's character in that show. Who she's a great actress, by the way, for those of you who don't know her. But basically, yeah, so the three of them dealing with that. One day, a crazed man comes in to the house saying he needs sort of therapy because the father is a therapist. Something sort of tragic happens there, which kind of sets off the rest of this movie. He was kind of screaming about a boogeyman that killed all of his children and whatnot. After sort of the tragedy happens with this character, it sets off the boogeyman being seen by the youngest daughter, and then the teenage daughter sort of goes on a hunt in the town and whatnot to just try to figure out what this boogeyman is, who it is, and whatnot. And I'll leave it at that. Overall, I enjoyed this movie. Is it anything groundbreaking? Is it top 10 worthy for me? No, but I think it is. There's just nothing like new here, but I enjoyed it. Like I was never bored watching it. I thought the cast was really good. The boogeyman character, they did keep him dark the majority of the movie, which was a really good choice. It kind of keeps the mystery there with him, so I did like that choice. Yeah, I mean it was decent. I would give it a 3 out of 5.
Yeah. So I don't know. This just felt so bland to me. There's just nothing special about it. It's really when I see a story about the boogeyman, and I've seen a few at this point, where kids see some kind of monster in their room. I kind of expect that they're going to do something with a twist, because you don't want to just go the classic tale of the monster in the closet. But this movie is legitimately just a monster in a closet for the majority of the film, and I mean they did it fine, but there's just nothing. There's no spark to this. There's nothing special about it. And the design of the monster is cool, but it's fully CGI to the point where you're like aware that it's CGI, and it just takes away a lot of the scary factor for it. Like there's just nothing memorable about this film. So it was enjoyable. Like I'm glad I watched it, but I'll forget it, like in a month. I totally won't remember I even watched this. So I gave it 2.5 stars out of 5.
Alrighty, my last one is 1982's The Last Horror Film, aka Maniac Part 2, starring Joe Spinell. And I I want people to watch this movie. It is really cool. It's also very confusing though. And it sucks that it's confusing because it's a Joe Spinell film where it's basically an unauthorized sequel to Maniac 2. So you want Joe Spinell sweating and greasing and killing people, which we get, but then we get all this other stuff thrown in too. So basically, Joe Spinell plays a movie obsessed dude that goes to Cannes Film Festival and with the goal of getting like his famous or his favorite actress who plays the lead role opposite him in Maniac in his film, right? We don't have a script for him. He's just carrying a camera around. He's running up to her when she's walking up like the stage, getting her in shots. She, gets out of her car. She's running up. He's running up, getting her in shots, things like that. Then people around her start dying. Is it Joe Spinell killing people? Is it evil Hollywood producers killing people? Is it the girl? Is it all in everyone's head? Wait till the final scene, the very last final scene to figure it out. And you still won't because it's confusing. So The Last Horror Film, 1982, I highly recommend it. I have it on Blu-ray, but I don't know. It's on Tubi. So for American audiences, you can get it on Tubi. The Last Horror Film, directed by David Winters. 3 out of 5, by the way.
My second watch tonight is a recap of Chucky season 3, part 1. This season, for some reason, they're splitting it into 2 parts. That's kind of the craze, I guess, these days. I don't know why they do that. But yeah, so I don't know. I'm kind of done with this series at this point. Like there are great moments of gore, and that's like the best part of this series at this point. Some of the kills are absolutely fantastic. I actually do like one part of the story that is happening this season. I won't get too spoilery, but basically Chucky is starting to age in the doll, and we are starting to see him age in the doll, which makes for a very interesting plot point, and I really like that part of it. It's just like, I don't know, man. Like I said, he's basically become a caricature of himself. It's just not the Chucky I like personally. I like the scary, creepy Chucky that we get in part 1 and part 2 and part 3. This like is into sort of Seed of Chucky sort of stuff going on right now, where it's just like complete almost comedy with some horror elements in it. Yeah, I also am disappointed because I feel like they've used a lot more CGI with Chucky this year. There are great times where he's practical, but he's no longer 100% practical like he was in the beginning of the show. They're using a lot more CGI. I'm assuming for budgetary reasons or whatever. So yeah, will I keep watching? I guess, because I do think the finale, the mid-season
You
finale,
just said you're
is
done with
pretty
it.
solid. I will keep watching because Sam loves it. So I'm kind of like, it's something for us to watch together. If Sam wasn't into it, I wouldn't continue on the train of it. I will say that. But yeah, the last episode was fun, like the Halloween episode, but I I just don't see this show running much longer, honestly, based on what I'm seeing here. I feel like it's just getting kind of lazy at this point. They rely heavily on the kills, and then everything else just kind of bland. So I will say it's probably better than the first half of season 2, but it's definitely a step down from that great first season, and it's not as good as the second half of season 2. I'm interested though to see where the aging Chucky storyline goes, so that is kind of hooking me a little bit. But yeah, I mean, overall for the mid-season part of this, I'd give it like a 2 out of 5 as it stands right now.
Yeah, it does not make me want to watch it at all. All right, so my last one this week, I watched over on Disney Plus. It might be Hulu in the US, I'm not 100% sure, and that is 2023's No One Will Save You. So this is a film that a lot of people have been talking about because it has very little dialogue. Like I think someone said there's 8 words of dialogue or something, or 8 lines. There's like almost no words spoken throughout this entire movie. It's the story of the girl, and she lives in a house alone after her mother has passed away, and she gets attacked by aliens. So there's an alien invasion, and it's basically her fending off the aliens for 90 minutes. So a pretty respectable runtime. There's not too much more to say than that. Sometimes a movie just grabs you, it just like puts you into its orbit, and you're like fully committed to what's happening on screen. And that's what happened to me in this film. Honestly, you did not need the dialogue. It's just this woman trying to outsmart the aliens, trying not to get captured by them. And as she tries to go navigate like the situation, she gets herself in other situations that complicate things even more. And it's crazy. It's relentless. The aliens look really cool. I dig the look of them and the vibe. You don't really know what's going on, but that's a good thing because you're always kind of on your toes and ready to see what's going to happen next. I thoroughly enjoyed this movie. And honestly, I said it was an hour 30, an hour and 10 in. I was ready to put this in maybe my top 3 of the year so far because that's how much I was into this movie. Unfortunately, I personally put a lot of weight into how a story finishes, and I did not like the ending. Some people might like the ending, and maybe it's just my own preference. I thought it was a little too stupid for the vibe that this movie had, but I highly recommend people check this out. There isn't enough alien horror out there, I think, and it gave me like the best vibe from things like Signs, like just the way the aliens are kind of scary but not too scary. I don't know, I really, really enjoyed this film, so people should check it out. I gave it 4 stars out of 5, and it's really just because of the ending. Had it even had a good ending, not a great ending, I probably would have given it 4.5. But as it stands, 4 out of 5, and it is in my top 10 right now. I don't think it'll stay there, or hopefully, but yeah, check it out. No One Will Save You over on Hulu or Disney Plus, depending where you are. All right, trivia.
All right, quarter number 4 is a 2-way tie with Steve and Joe, both at 7 apiece. Myself with 6. Who would like to lead off today?
I'll lead us off.
Ooh.
Shout out to Katie, big
Katie.
Creature from the Black Lagoon fan. So she did send me a Creature from the Black Lagoon question for you guys. Black Lagoon girl on our Discord as well,
Nice.
for those of you who don't know. So here is the question. What were the 2 actors who played the Gill Man in the original Creature from the
Rico
Black
Browning.
Lagoon?
Yep, that's correct,
Yes.
for sure.
I don't remember the other one. Jack Smith. He's got a really plain name, if I remember.
Yep, that's all I know too.
All right. Well, no points awarded to either of you then, because you needed both. The correct answer is Rico Browning, who did play the underwater creature, and Ben Chapman, who played the creature on land.
Yeah, he had a long life, Rico, man. He just passed this year, man.
Yeah.
It's nuts.
I was able to meet him like 5 or 6 years ago.
Sweet.
Cool dude.
All
right. Guess the movie based off the IMDb parental guide. And I will say these are all movies that are either in or spin-offs of the Universal Monsters, since we're doing a Universal Monster episode. Okay. So it could be things that are just, references to Universal Monsters, but they're all within that genre. Sex and nudity. At a party, a man rubs a woman's breasts. Nipples are shown as they make out for a few seconds.
Okay.
Violence and gore. Gunfights, sword fights, grenades. A character is stabbed by a sword and bleeds.
As one would do. As one would do.
Profanity. Shit is said a few times, as well as hell, damn, bastard. Not really a lot of gratuitous language, although there are a lot of threats made. Alcohol, drugs, and smoking. People drink and smoke. Like a big
Makes
help
sense.
there.
Thank you, John.
This is probably the giveaway and the last clue. Frightening and intense scenes. The creature can be frightening for some kids. More than one man transforms into a monster. There is some blood and ooze.
I don't know. Bordello of Blood?
Wrong.
I got nothing, man. It's Universal Monster related.
Yeah.
Though.
It could be a spin-off of one of the Universal Monsters.
Gotcha. The Wolfman.
Wrong. You guys want another guess, or you're out of ideas?
Nah, I got
tapped. Yeah.
All right.
I got nothing.
So the answer was a spin-off of this movie, Swamp Thing.
Oh,
Oh, which you just talked about.
Yep.
we did. Wes Craven
Wes Craven.
retrospective.
That's correct.
All right, these are all gonna be from my massive book of trivia. That'll be in stores. I don't know when. Taking forever.
When it's ready.
All right, when it's ready. This 2010 film features Adrian Brody as a scientist combining human and animal DNA together with horrific results.
Ooh.
Island of Dr. Moreau.
Incorrect.
I don't know if he did one of those.
No.
Van Helsing.
Incorrect.
I feel like I've seen this movie, but I can't remember it.
I know for certain you have.
Okay.
The correct answer is Splice.
Oh.
Ah, yes. That's a good one. I like
That's
that
fun.
one.
That's fun.
Okay. My next one. Guess the movie based on IMDb information.
Nice.
All right. This movie released in 2020. It is rated R, clocking in at 2 hours and 4 minutes. We have a cast of Oliver Jackson Cohen, Harriet Dyer, Aldous Hodge, and Storm Reed. Writers H.G. Wells. The tagline: what you can't see can hurt you.
Mm.
Is it? What's the name of that movie? I'm not gonna remember the name of it. So is it the one with the dude in the bathroom stall? And he's like,
No,
not
No.
that one.
correct.
Is
What
it
was the name of that one?
underwater?
It is not underwater. So let me give you guys another hint.
Bathroom stall. I'm confused by that.
The bathroom stall.
Yeah, we
with-
watched that one.
Yeah. Where it's
It
like
was,
end of the world and shit.
Yes, and
What's
it's
the
a
name of that
glory
fucking
hole.
movie?
There's a,
Glory.
there's a glory hole.
Yeah,
There's
it is a
Oh
glory
yeah,
hole.
it's
Yeah.
and
glorious.
there's the monster in it. Glorious. Yeah.
Glorious glory hole. Yeah.
Okay, I'll give you guys one more hint, and this one will be the dead giveaway,
Okay.
potentially. Director Lee Winnell.
Invisible Man.
Correct.
Good job.
Yeah.
All right. So Steve got the name of his little bit, man. 1 point.
All right.
Cool.
Guess the movie by the IMDb Did You Know section.
All right.
Trivia. The beaver mascot logo used in the film was the Oregon State University Beavers logo in use by the university at that time. Quotes. Harold, listen, son, you're going to be able to do a lot of things that the other guys can't. Scott, oh yeah, like chase cars and bite the mailman?
Okay.
Goofs. This is an error in geography. There are no palm trees in Nebraska.
Okay.
Crazy credits. The end credits are shown as the crowd cheers and celebrates in slow motion. This is probably the giveaway here, so you got to be quick. Soundtrack. Big Bad Wolf, performed by Bunny and the Wolf Sisters.
Fuck, man. Sounds like a werewolf movie.
Teen Wolf.
Correct. Teen Wolf.
Nice.
Yes. Pure guess.
Starring Mr. Michael J. Fox.
That's right.
Yes.
Very nice. All right. Let's go to everyone's favorite subject. Taglines.
Mm.
Ooh.
All right, let me find one that isn't total bullshit. 'Cause some of these are like,
I know.
really?
Yeah.
All right. It's been 6 months. Time for your checkup.
The dentist?
Correct.
Yes.
I was going to say Dr. Giggles.
yeah,
We're in the same realm.
you're the same realm.
Okay. 3 letterboxed reviews. Guess the movie. Deliciously dark atmosphere, but not much else.
A lot of stuff.
Yes. Best bad boyfriend movie.
Oh, I have one in the chamber.
Okay. Last one. The long stretches of white noise are what really sell this film for me. Weirdly enough, it's an unintentional outcome since early sound films predate a lot of the music cues we've been conditioned to expect.
What? Dang.
Bride of Frankenstein?
Incorrect.
Is this still from
I have one more guess
from
after.
Discord? Or these yours?
What's it?
Is this one from Discord too? Is it yours?
These are 3 letterboxed reviews, just
No,
randomly.
but who provided it? You
Oh.
or someone else?
Oh, me.
Okay. Can you say that last one again, please?
Sure. I'll read them all 3 again.
All right.
Deliciously dark atmosphere, but not much else. Best bad boyfriend movie. The long stretches of white noise are what really sell this film for me, weirdly enough. It's an unintentional outcome since early sound films predate a lot of the music cues we've been conditioned to expect.
Is it The Lighthouse?
Incorrect.
Can you give us one hint, and I'll even ask the question? Is it pre 1960?
Correct. It is.
So I'll go Wolfman.
Incorrect.
Pre 1960. Fuck, man. Is it Phantom of the Opera?
Incorrect.
Right,
I'll give you
Creature
guys
2 or some
one
shit.
more guess each if you'd like.
Is it Creature from the Black Lagoon 2?
Incorrect.
I thought you said crazy. Like, fuck. Bad Boyfriend, White Noise.
Yeah,
I don't know.
the bad boyfriend
This
one
is-
is the one that's like.
This is tricky. Is it Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde?
Incorrect. The correct
Alright.
answer is 1931's Dracula.
We hit all the Universal monsters, but yes.
Well, shit the bed.
Yeah. All right. Final question. Regular question. A sequel titled Terror in Manhattan was planned but never made. According to a 1991 article in Fangoria magazine, the screenplay was rewritten for Dance Macabre, also starring the same lead actor.
Fuck if I know.
Robert Englund's The Phantom of the Opera.
Correct.
Fucking shit. Bullshit. Illusion. All right, I'm gonna pull out a fucking stupid ass tagline now.
All right.
All right. Today, the pond. Tomorrow, the world.
Ooh. Frogs.
Fucking shit.
Well,
No.
you should on
Yes.
fire tonight, man.
Damn it.
baby.
Son of a bitch. All right. Fucking Joe. Big night, 3. Steve, 2. Me, 0. Joe and Lee with 10. Steve, second, 9. Myself, 6. Boo. Okay. So the update for the year. We still have multiple weeks left for quarter number 4, obviously. But Joe is in the lead with 73. Steve and I, neck and neck, 68 apiece. Joe must be stopped. Some
Woo.
collusion is in the works between Steve and I. Just for one episode.
Come on.
All right.
Reign of Terror will not be stopped.
Me
All
and
right,
Rita.
Creature from the Black
All
Lagoon.
right. Yes.
All right. 1954, directed by Mr. Jack Arnold. From the Amazon's forbidden depths came the creature from the Black Lagoon. A scientific expedition searching for fossils along the Amazon River discover a prehistoric gill man in the legendary Black Lagoon. The explorers capture the mysterious creature, but it breaks free. The gill man returns to kidnap the lovely Kay, fiance of one of the expedition, with whom it has fallen in love. So we have a small expedition in the beginning here, and they literally find a semi-fossilized man-like amphibious hand sticking out of the fucking rocks. And I found it so funny how hard they were with this specimen. Like they're fucking hacking away at it. I'm like, I'm not a scientist, but I know you gotta they use their little dustings and shit to get around. This motherfucker's hitting it, breaking it, snaps it off. How do you know the whole body's not in the rock? But whatever. They take it back to this other group and like, hey, like we found this. What if we do an expedition over here? So they all get together and they decide to go downriver in the Amazon and look at this area. They spend about 8 days and they don't find shit. So they're like, what if we follow the river down to where it empties in this lagoon? And then this other guy's like, oh yeah, I know about this lagoon. It's beautiful. I'm going to tell you about it now instead of when we were over here. So they decide to go in that lagoon and they start searching for evidence of like some prehistoric beast that's still alive or whatever. Then they get attacked. And then they soon realize that there is a live specimen that has the hots for Julie Adams, who's a babe. So I don't blame him. And now we follow the scientific crew as they try to escape the lagoon because the creature traps them in there with some logs and stuff. We have some other doctors like, we're not leaving until we figure out what's going on, until we get evidence. And another doctor's like, we're leaving right fucking now and stuff like that. So they're arguing back and forth. And I'll leave it at that. I've seen this movie multiple times and my opinion never changes for me. It's not my favorite Universal that belongs to Frankenstein, which I absolutely love. But this is pretty solid. At 79 minutes, I still think it feels a little bit long at times because they rehash stuff that like the same argument and the same scene over and over again. But I highly respect a dude being in a fucking rubber suit swimming openly. That's cool. Like they could have hit it easily, but no, they have fucking wide shots of him swimming around, which is really neat. Julie Adams is freaking hot. The doctor characters are all believable, and of course, they have to have the wisecracking ship captain who's always smiling, cracking jokes. Every time he talks, he fucking ear to ear smiles. He's like a caricature of that time period, and I dug it, man. Yeah, I'll leave it at that because I absolutely hate a couple things. But what do you guys think?
Yeah, I mean, so I've seen this movie quite a few times, but it's been a while since I guess I've sat down and kind of watched it with a critical eye this time. And yeah, I mean, overall, I agree with you, Todd. Like, I think it's a really good movie, right? It's solid, but I did find it at 80 minutes, it definitely drags in parts. Like, I definitely think it gets a bit too repetitive with all of the sort of underwater swimming scenes. I mean, granted, this is 1954. You can only do so much, right? But I mean, I think the effects on the creature are fucking top notch. Like, he looks amazing. Like, in this, the gills moving and shit, and the gills kind of moving underwater and stuff. There's just some great shots too, especially where Julia Adams and him are kind of swimming in unison, her up top, him below. I absolutely love that scene. And yeah, I mean, we'll get into it, man, but like fuck around and find out. Like these people like deserve what they got, man. They were like the creature just minding his own business, swimming underwater, and they came at him. So that they kind of deserve the fate they got in a lot of ways. I mean, I know Creature did kind of fuck around with those other people that weren't on the expedition, but overall, I had a good time with it. I agree, it's not my favorite Universal monster movie, but it's solid.
Yeah, I've only seen it. This may be my third time seeing it. I saw it in college. I saw it maybe 5, 6 years ago, and it'd been a while since I checked it out. But I did get the 30 Universal Monster Pack, so I've been meaning to rewatch them all. And I'm kind of with you guys. It's not one of my favorites, but it's also not one of my least favorites. I really, the thing that always hits me when I watch this one in particular is how like well made it is, especially for like 1954. All those underwater shots and stuff that had to be really tough to do in 1954 with the size of the cameras, and you kind of get an idea what it probably looked like because they bring a camera into the water at one point. It's got this giant like submarine like piece, like chess piece that they have to bring down, and I'm assuming that's what it kind of probably was really like to film scenes like that. So it's very impressive how it's made. The costume is fantastic. Like what a great job they did with the Gillman, and it's just I adore that. I like the characters. I especially like the captain. He made me laugh. He's just so goofy and funny, and it kind of brings a little bit of levity to this character, to this movie, where a lot of the other characters are really serious and stuff. Yeah, I mean, I have some issues with it too. I agree with the length, even though it's not really that long, because they spend most of it in one area. Like they don't really venture out too often. It kind of makes it feel a little bit longer than the runtime suggests. If we look at Phantom of the Opera, for example, they had these like crazy sets and they move around from these great locations. Whereas this, it's really the swamp, the boat, a little bit of cave, and then you see the doctors in their lab at one point. There's not too much to it, and that's unfortunate for this story. The one thing that I don't know if I just remembered it wrong or I'm thinking of something else, but I thought there was a little bit more of romantic tension, I guess you could say, between the Guildman and the main character. I don't know where I'm getting it. Maybe it's The Shape of Water I'm thinking of, or I thought there was a little bit more to it. Now I'm not saying she full blown wanted a relationship with the Guildman, but I thought she was a little more conflicted than what we get in this movie. So that was something that was kind of surprising on this rewatch, but I liked it. I just don't think it's one of the best Universal monsters.
Yeah, I was trying to put myself in the perspective of someone that would have watched this and not had a lot of experience with horror, because a lot of like the scares, quote unquote, were so goofy, and I hated the Gilman's theme song, the trumpets. Dun, dun, dun. Oh my God. Can we like tone it down a bit? And I was just wondering, like, man, like when there's so many unnecessary scenes of just the hand coming up around a corner or creeping up and then it fucking like just goes back in the water. I'm like, this must have freaked people the fuck out. Like they're probably losing their minds. But from a 2023 perspective, it's like, all right, I only need to see the hand maybe one more time. I get it. And then the trumpets come like, oh shit. But I really, really love the scene where the two scientists are going after him in the water with their spear guns. That was a super fucking tight scene. Like, man, that I would love to see a behind the scenes, even though that doesn't exist. But like a making of for this film would have been spectacular.
So, what do you guys think of the doctors, and, like the scientists in this story? I felt that it took me. I don't know if just because they all look, a lot of them look similar, but I was like confused at first of who's who. It's not until a few of them died that I was like, okay, this is who's like the bad scientist versus the good scientist and stuff like that. I don't know. I didn't love their characters personally. I thought the captain and the woman were the two best characters, other than the Gillman, of course. So, how did you land on the scientists?
Yeah, forgettable. I would agree. Like, obviously, there was that sort of like it was a love triangle, right? Like they both kind of obviously like liked Kay, although Kay seemed to levitate towards one more than the other. But yeah, forgettable. Like I agree, Kay is probably the best human character in this, followed by the captain, Gilman, obviously being the favorite. But yeah, I agree with one of my favorite scenes though in the entire movie is when the two scientists go down into the water looking for the creature, and the creature kind of stalks them and ends up attacking and killing one of them. I love that scene. That's one of my favorite scenes. Thought the tension was great. You know, the creature kind of wrestling around with the scuba diver and stuff like that. I thought that was really, really cool.
Yeah. You know what I thought was kind of cheap though? Is at the end when he finally takes her into his little love cave and he puts her on like the pedestal or some shit. I don't know. But then like there's a fight. I'm like, all right, cool. This looks like a William Shatner versus whatever space alien fight from Star Trek. They're going at it. And then the other dudes just show up with a gun. I'm like, how the fuck did they get in? And then they just like walk through like this little side entrance. I'm like, what? Like it was so cool. Like they had to go underwater and scuba gear and all that shit. And these fucking jokes just like walk through and start blasting. And they're like, no, don't shoot him. He's had enough. He fucking just dies. I'm like, man, that was a little cheap because I really love the love cave, but it wasn't utilized that much.
Yeah, no, I agree. It wasn't like utilized enough, and it goes to Steve's point where was there like a love tension between the creature and Kay, or was he just kind of grabbing whoever the fuck he wanted?
I thought he was
He
just
wanted
horny.
her.
Like,
Yeah.
I think his whole point was he wanted to mate. That's why he's killing the men off and
Yeah.
kind of saving her and like oogling her, because he could have easily killed her when she went swimming in the Amazon in a like Black Lagoon.
So
So,
dumb.
God, the amount of things that could have killed her in that lagoon is like immeasurable. But
Yeah.
everyone on the boat's like, "What the hell are you doing?" Like, yeah, it's
The,
ridiculous,
the whole time they were like, where's the woman at? We got to make
right?
sure she's not hurting herself. I'm like, calm down,
Yeah.
fucking dudes.
1950s men.
Yeah. It wasn't like, from my perspective, like bad though. Like they were generally concerned with her safety. But like other films, you'd be like, get away from me. Yeah, you can't. Oh, and I love to add to your point about the scientists all looking the same. They all sound the same too. Like, what are we gonna do here? We got to research this. It's just funny.
Yeah. So two little observations that I made in this movie that kind of made me laugh. The first one is when the guy gets injured by the by the creature but doesn't die, they wrap him like a mummy. It's like they didn't know how to treat him, so they just let's just give him the works. He's like full on fucking mummy on the boat, which I thought was hilarious because I don't know why the hell they did that.
I was just gonna comment that I bet the interior of that boat smells like complete shit. Because at one scene, like first of all, they haven't bathed in at least 18 days. We know they're working trying to chip away at the rocks for 8 days, and they went down the lagoon. So that's the body odor part. The river's not going to smell pleasant with all the fucking top muck and all that shit and the creatures shitting everywhere and things like that. And then they're fucking, one guy's got a pipe and one guy's got a cigarette, and they're all within like 5 feet of each other just chain smoking. The interior of that boat is no place for a man to recover from his injuries. That sucks.
So they make a big point during the film to regulate like the pressure when the divers come back up. They mention it several times in the movie. They always like every time they're like almost to the surface but kind of hover there. They're like, oh, they're just regulating the pressure and everything. But that whole thing just gets fucking dropped in the second half of the movie when they're clearly going super low into the lagoon and coming up with no issues. I thought someone would die, like of essentially their lungs exploding or something. It was weird. It was like, why even make a point of it if not you're not going to do anything with it?
100% agree. I was like, all right, this is like, they just kept like harping on that back and forth. I'm like, oh, there's gonna be like a really cool scene where the guy gets spooked from the creature and he has to go up too fast and he's like, fucking brain cells are gonna explode or something. Doesn't happen, which was disappointing. I was expecting it the whole movie. So yeah, it did kind of seem like a pointless plot line to keep going back and forth to.
Yeah, I also thought it was questionable too. Like these scientists, one we see them destroying a specimen by yanking it out of a rock, and then next we see them in the spirit of science, just casually poisoning the entire ecosystem in the lagoon, and they're swimming in it. They're fiddling it with their hands. I'm like, we're not worried about killing ourselves either, gentlemen. But no, they're making little bombs, throwing them in the water. They go down. They make sure they kill everything in that lagoon. So yeah, that was pretty ridiculous.
It was like the scientists in Arachnophobia, just like gassing the entire
Yeah.
fucking ecosystem.
We love science. Let's
Yeah.
kill all these fucking animals.
Didn't they say though it just paralyzed them? I mean, they did look dead though when all the
They're
fish
pretty
kind
dead,
of were.
man.
Yeah,
I mean,
I
they
was
put
like,
them
I
in
don't
fucking
know.
like they pinned them to boards and shit. So I think they're dead.
Yeah, is that stuff like real? Is that a thing? I was like wondering that while watching the movie. I was like, I've never seen this stuff before. Is this just made up for the movie?
I have no
Couldn't
idea.
couldn't
Is this
tell you.
called rotenol
Yeah,
or something? I thought he was going
yeah.
to throw out some dynamite, which is usually a common thing for these types of movies.
Hmm.
Right. Yeah, but then
That
they
would've
would
been
have
cool.
they could have used the dynamite for that like twig that was holding the boat back during the end sequence, which it was so funny to me. Like, you seriously, that boat can't get through that fucking branch that's like blocking the way. Like underwater, it looked like a full tree, but
Yeah.
there's no that boat could have easily just ran through it and been fine.
Yeah. This just in: rotenol kills fish not by removing oxygen from the water, but by inhibiting, oxygen transfer and cellular respiration. So those fucking fish are dead. These bastards.
Not enough to kill the creature though, or Gilman.
Not enough. No.
Apparently, just enough to
It
get
was
him
built
kind of
different.
fucked up. Do we know what happened? So I will fully admit I've never seen either of the sequels. So do we know?
either.
Like, I assume he just survives the gunshot wounds somehow and
Yeah,
comes.
probably. I know one day we have to do the sequels. I know
Yeah.
Katie has been like asking us for a while, and I think it would be a cool maybe double feature to do both sequels in one shot. And that's also what's his face's Clint Eastwood's first movie appearance ever was in the sequel, so it'll be interesting to see that.
I gotta mention I have a Todd gripe for
Oh,
this movie.
yes.
Oh yeah.
So Todd gripe for the movie is he gets fucking speared and the thing doesn't bleed. Like if the thing got speared twice and not blood doesn't come out of it once. I'm like, what kind of fucking fish is this?
Yeah,
It's
definitely.
it's Gillman, bro.
It's Gilman. Yeah.
But he
That's
should
all
be
you can say.
bleeding. Like
It's
you
Gillman.
see, he bleeds from the gunshots, but he doesn't bleed from the spear, like in the water. Like that would have looked cool too. Like
would've
had
been
like you
cool.
seen like blood coming out of. They could have did that easily too, even in the 50s. Put a little pack like inside the suit or something.
Yeah, I don't know about these sequels, but Creature Part 3, The Creature Walks Among Us, looks fucking cool because Creature's wearing a t-shirt. So I'm like, cool, I'm in.
Apparently, yeah. So they just like try to put him in society. Like he has a job. He's like
Yeah,
bringing
it's like
groceries
Planet
and
of the
stuff.
Apes, when they bring them back, they're just like walking around and trying to integrate themselves with
That's-
humanity.
That's literally what it is.
Yeah.
Scientists surgically transform the creature into an air breather, but being able to live on land is not enough to make him comfortable with humans. So he gets enraged and starts killing people.
There you go. Yeah, we'll have to do a double feature of that sometime in the new year. I think that'd be a fun episode to do. Yeah, that's about all I had for this movie, though. I don't know if you guys.
I needed more like noises from the creature. Like he's pretty silent. You hear him like kind of scream twice. I feel like
It's a
had
fucking
you heard
trumpet.
it
You can't hear him when
more,
he's saying.
yeah, I feel like it would have made it a little creepier had you heard him like underwater or something making noises or something. But I love the camera work with the hand. I love like all of the sort of hand coming through the windows and stuff like that. I think that added to it. And I think this would have been terrifying for people in the 50s. They hadn't really seen anything like this before. So I'm sure I could imagine like people screaming in the theater when he was getting close to people and stuff. So yeah, I think it was kind of, I can't think of anything similar to this prior, with sort of like a fish man.
No, I can't either. Not prior. No.
No.
Rate it.
All right, we rating this sucker.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So like I said, I had a lot of fun watching this. I enjoyed it. I think, and man, it's amazing what they can do these days. It's like up converting a movie from this to make it look almost like brand new, like HD and black and white. It's really, really impressive. And I think it still looks great. Like the suit looks amazing still to this day. Like even up converting it, you couldn't really see many faults with it that you could see from certain other movies. So big props to that. Like I said, it's a bit repetitive at times, and the runtime for it being a short movie, it drags at times, unfortunately. So, but still a really solid movie. I originally had it at a 4 out of 5 coming in, but after this rewatch, looking at it with a more critical eye, I'm going to knock it down to a 3.5 out of 5.
I agree. 3.5 out of 5 for me. For everything you said, performances are solid. The setting is really cool, and the creature looks badass. So 3.5 out of 5.
You monsters for a classic like this. No, I agree. 3.5 out of 5. I think it's good. Like it's really good, but it's got issues for sure. And I think I enjoy some of the other ones. But actually, I think I enjoyed Phantom of the Opera last year more than I did this one. So still very good though, especially considering its age.
Alrighty, awesome. Well, I think that is going to be it for this week's episode, everyone. We hope you had a very happy Halloween. Next week, episode 303. Why is that special? Because we had such a busy October. We weren't able to fully celebrate our 300th episode. So we are going to do an episode celebration at 303 where we are going to be reviewing 3 movies from the old days, 3 movies from the original podcast days before Steve joined us. We are going to be reviewing my pick of The Witch, Steve's pick of Cemetery Man, which, Steve, can you tell us why?
Yeah, that was my pick because that is my first appearance on this podcast, episode 11, which is now lost to time and my hard drive. So I thought it'd be cool to revisit it. You know, it's been, my God, like probably 6 years since that moment. So I've been eager to rewatch it and I'm pretty psyched about it. So it'll be fun.
Awesome. And Todd, tell us about your pick.
Yep. So we're going back to the jungle with Cannibal Holocaust. And the reason I picked it is I think it's a fantastic movie with an even better score if you take the animal violence out. So luckily there's copies online as well as the Blu-ray I have where you can cut all the animal shit out. It's unnecessary to the story either, and it's a shame that they did that, but I'm eager to revisit it without that stuff thrown in. Cannibal Holocaust.
Alrighty. So there you go. There you have it, folks. Episode 303, a triple feature of The Witch, Cemetery Man, and Cannibal Holocaust. I don't think you can get 3 any more very different movies than those 3. So that should be a very fun discussion next week. So go and check out all 3 of those movies. They should be streaming somewhere, all 3, so you can find them pretty easily. In the meantime, if you want to keep up with the podcast, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, Threads, just search the Horror Squad Podcast. You can also email us anytime, the Horror Squad Podcast at gmail.com. But of course, the absolute best way to keep up with the podcast is our Discord. Just send us a DM or an email, and we will get you a special link to join our Discord. Completely free to join. Amazing community over there. We have movie club every month. We have a whole bunch of channels over there for you to explore. So go and join our Discord. You can also buy merch, tpublic.com. Just search the Horror Squad Podcast. It's also linked over on our Instagram, and you can buy some merch. We have a bunch of different designs over there. And if you haven't already, please leave us a 5-star review on your favorite podcast app. That would definitely help us the best. So I think that is about it, folks. We'll see you next week for our 300th episode celebration, episode 303. We'll see you then. Bye.
Bye. Happy Halloween.
Happy Halloween.